everybody, and welcome back to our daily Bible videos. Today we are looking at 1 Samuel chapter 9. My name is Sarah and it's good to be with you as we carry on with these Bible videos. Now you may have noticed that we've kind of done a little bit of a skip. So we finished Luke's Gospel yesterday, and today we are picking up the story of 1 Samuel, but in chapter 9. And the reason for that is that the kind of Bible texts that we follow, they run an Old Testament reading and a New Testament reading at the same time, and we were finishing off Luke's Gospel and now we're kind of switching into where the Old Testament readings have been up till now. So I'm going to post a little video that gives you a bit of a summary about 1 Samuel, which will help you to kind of catch up on the first 8 chapters of the book if you haven't read them already. But what's basically been happening so far is that we've got the people of God, the people of Israel, who have been, up until this point, they've been ruled by judges. So they're organised into tribes, and each tribe has a judge that kind of rules over them and keeps order and leads the people. And just before this passage that we've read today, the people have gone to Samuel, who's their prophet, and has said, we want to have a king. Let's ask God to give us a king. And so God says, okay, fine, give the people what they want, they can have a king. And so this is where we pick up this moment where Samuel the prophet finds Saul and kind of begins to start off this process of choosing him to be the first king of Israel, to be the first one that's anointed as king over the people. And there's some interesting things that we're told about Saul in this chapter. First of all, we're told that he's quite handsome, that he's very tall, he's probably a bit of a looker. But we're also told some other stuff about him, which is that he's from the smallest tribe of Israel, the Benjaminites, and he's from the least of the clans. So he's not particularly powerful or influential, and he's probably quite low down in the social pecking order of Israel. And yet he's the one that God has chosen to be king. And there's this little phrase in this passage where it says, he will deliver the people, God's people, he will deliver them from their enemies, the Philistines. And all this talk about kings and the king of Israel and things like that, it makes me think forward to the next part of the story that we know, the bit of the story that we've just finished looking at in Luke's Gospel, where we see Jesus, this king, the king of the Jews, the king over Israel, the king over everything, over the whole of the universe. And a bit differently to Samuel, we're told that Jesus, he's not really a bit of a looker. There's nothing about how he looks that would make him attractive to other people. But like Samuel, he comes from pretty low down in the social order. And so we see Jesus, the one who will go on to be king, Jesus, from a place called Galilee, not very well liked as a place. He's from Galilee, and we see him born to a teenager, an unmarried girl, in a stable, in poverty, in dirt amongst the animals, amongst the least of everybody. And yet God takes Jesus and exalts him into the highest place, as we saw at the end of Luke, exalts him as Jesus is ascended into heaven to sit on the throne with God. And so as we kind of start off this story of Saul being the first king of Israel, we're reminded as well as of Jesus, the humble king, the one who came from nothing and yet who God exalted into heaven. And so we remember Jesus, the King of all.